Hey everyone, this is Riddle Hagaraja Raven. I'm here with my recap and review of Animal Kingdom Season number 6, Episode number 5, which is titled Diamonds Are Forever. Forever. Well, it's Diamonds Forever. And this was a very interesting episode. Oh, first of all, full disclosure, I was provided with an advanced screening link for the episode for review for free. It's not a sponsored video. I'm not getting paid to review the episode, so all of the opinions that I share are my own. But anyway, so this was a very, very intense episode, especially because we actually saw the Codys do their job against Eddie. And now that they have done the job, I'm not really sure. I think that Eddie might come after them. I'm not really sure, because they did steal a whole lot from Eddie. They did steal a lot, but let's see what happens. The episode opens up with Julia. She's ready to go, and Baz is going to be with her, and yeah, Smurf is like, where are you going, Julia? And Julia's like, I'm just giving Baz a lift, because I'm going to go to the mall, and he needs to buy a record or something, and I'm like, these two are growing close, and Smurf doesn't like that. So we cut to Andrew. He's at his skate park, and because he ended up meeting Amy in the previous episode, he wants to see if he should reach out to Amy more and see if they can rekindle their romance. So he's kind of hesitating. He doesn't necessarily know if he should call her or send her a message. So Augie comes in, and Augie is like, hey, a whole lot of people are coming here. You built it, and they just keep on coming. They just keep on coming. And Andrew's like, hey, Augie, I'm going to be busy for a few days, so can you, like, take care of the park? And Augie's like, yeah, I can do that. And yeah, this is the scene where Augie's like, you build something and they will come. So we cut to Tyler, and it's Tyler, right? Or it's Tyler, yeah. Tyler is still talking to Detective Thompson, and yeah, Detective Thompson is like, Tyler, you did good, you did well. And I'm like, you know what? You could try and not be too rude towards him. Like, I like Detective Thompson, because she's the type of detective that is willing to play dirty in order to get the Codys, in order to bring Andrew down, which I can get behind. But at least try and be kind to your snitch, whom you are actually using to gain access to the Cody house, which we'll get to in a bit. But yeah, Tyler is like, you do know that you are messing with the Codys, right? You do not mess with the Codys. And Thompson is like, don't worry about me. So because he ended up sleeping at the Cody house in the garage, he was able to take these pictures of their power box and whatnot. And Thompson is like, you did good, Tyler, you did good. And I'm like, are you going to give Tyler some money? But no, she just tells him to leave. So we cut to Joshua talking to Eddie's brother, and yeah, it's time for the job. They should be ready, and Eddie's brother ends up warning Joshua that Eddie will be bringing one of his most loyal, trusted bodyguards, so they need to be careful. So we cut to Darren, and he goes to Greg in order to talk to him about the job, because there's still tension going on between these two. And Darren is like, you know what, Greg, I need a bit more time. And Greg is like, well, if you need more time, why don't I go with you? I think that it's way too risky to try and steal Eddie's jewelry all on your own. I should be with you. And Darren is like, hey, I'll handle it. Just give me time, okay? And Greg is like, the most I can do is give you like 3 minutes. And Darren is like, no, I need more time. And Greg is like, okay then, 5 minutes, Darren. So Joshua is drinking coffee at Darren's bar. He's talking to the bartender, and it turns out that they need better coffee, because there's like, what, a 75% up margin on coffee, so they can launder more money through that. And yeah, he's like, okay, I'll look into it. So it's time for Joshua and Darren to meet the new guys who want to start a new restaurant nearby. And yeah, Joshua, he goes for the kill. Joshua is like, you know what? I'm not going to take your 3% or nothing. I'm going to take 5. And they're like, no, 5 is too much. And Joshua continues to increase the percentage until they're like, wait. Okay, 5. We'll do 5. So Andrew and Joshua are going over all of the stuff they have acquired for the job, and that they're ready to do this and whatnot. And yeah, this is where these two talk about that they need to be ready. And then we cut to Smurf, and Smurf is hooking up with Billy. They're having fun, and this is where Smurf is like, hey Billy, those that area you go into, I think it's an army base or it's near an army base, I'm not really sure, but she's like, I need access to that base, and Billy is like, no can do, you know, if I end up giving you permission to enter that area, then I'll lose the good thing that I have going on. And this is where Smurf ends up telling Billy that he's not fit to be a father, that he ended up kidnapping Darren and whatnot, and that he doesn't get to say no to her. And yeah, you can tell that Billy is really hooked into Smurf, and she's using that to her advantage. So Craig is outside the estate where Brock is going to have his party, and there are other paparazzi as well. And Craig is basically, yeah, he's riling up the other paparazzi. He kind of pushes this paparazzi out of the way, and he doesn't like that. And while all of that's happening, we get to see Joshua and Andrew working together to basically make their way into the plumbing. And I have to say that the way that the Codys went about stealing all of that jewelry, and then have all of that jewelry be sent out of the house, very clever. Very clever. So these two figure out where the pipe is, the pipe that they need to basically control in order to gain access to the jewelry. And as they're talking, this is where Andrew is like, hey Joshua, the thing you were talking about us going legit, are you talking about suits and all of that business stuff? And Joshua is like, not necessarily, we will still be doing what we're doing, but we'll be doing it better, we need to adapt. And Andrew's like, because Andrew, he grew up watching National Geographic and all of those channels, and he's like, yep, just like organisms, just like the Amazon, if you don't adapt, you die. And Joshua like, okay. So Darren is already inside the estate because he's posing as a fire marshal. Eddie's there with his bodyguard, and he's hanging these jewelry pieces in this weird wintry type themed party. Like, I get that these people are rich, but the party doesn't look good. It's like, it lacks character as far as my opinion goes. So he ends up talking to Brock's assistant, and Darren's like, okay, so this is a Christmas themed party, right? And the assistant is like, no, don't mention the words Christmas or anything. This is just a white party, a white themed party which has these white Christmas trees, and it's a Christmas kind of a Christmas themed party, a winter themed party. But yeah, the assistant is like, okay, do you need anything else from me? And Darren's like, no, I'll just walk around. So as these two are cutting into the plumbing, this is where Andrew is like, hey Joshua, you're still seeing that married woman? And Joshua's like, yeah, I still am. And Andrew's like, she doesn't know about us, right? And of course Joshua replies, no, I don't talk about my personal stuff or my family stuff with anyone. And Andrew's like, okay, that's good. So while all of that's happening, Detective Thompson is like, you know what, I need to go to the Codys house because Tyler ended up telling her that Andrew will be away for a few days with his brothers. And she's like, okay, I need to go in. And she's walking around, she's touching stuff, and there's a scene where she ends up placing the breakfast cereal box wrong. And I'm like, Andrew's going to notice that. I can just feel it. And then she goes into Andrew's room and she finds this box, and in this box she sees that Andrew has pictures of Lena, and there's also a picture of Catherine and Lena, and she's like, yep, I need to take down Andrew somehow. I need to do this. So Baz and Julia are just hanging around. They're flirting, and Baz tells Julia to do this thing where she bends over in order to see the horizon upside down, and then they start kissing and whatnot, and Baz just wants Julia to be free and live life, and they start kissing, and things get heavy, steamy, and this is where I guess Baz wants to sleep with her right there on the rocks, and she's like, no, it's not like I don't want to do it, it's just that I haven't done it before. And I'm like, Baz is going to basically be the first guy that she sleeps with, which, okay, messy. So, while they wait for Darren, for the plan to continue with Darren basically sending them the jewelry pieces, this is where Andrew asks Joshua about whether or not he should be called. No, wait. I think he asked Joshua about calling his friend in the previous episode, right? Or something? Or maybe it's in this episode. I think it's in this episode. I could be wrong, but anyway, Joshua's like, hey, I think you should call your friend. I think it would be good for you. And Andrew's like, okay, but I need to go because it's Andrew's turn to go into the estate, because first they need to overflood the toilet, and then they need to be called, and then it's quite well written. I'll probably go into more detail about it in my written review. So yeah, of course the toilet gets clogged by Joshua and Andrew, and the girl is like, the toilet, and yeah, it's a mess inside, so she runs away. So now Andrew's like, yep, that's my cue, I need to go. So while all of that's happening, Greg is talking to his paparazzi friend, and his paparazzi friend tells Greg that they have this kind of agreement with Brock where they don't mention certain things, especially Brock's child with some other woman, and also Brock's mother, and he allows them to take pictures of him to sell and make money. And Greg is like, okay. So, and then this is where Greg is like, hey, why don't we try and sneak into the estate? And the guy is like, yeah, let's not do that. So Andrew, after they end up clogging the toilet, Andrew's like, yep, that's my cue, I need to go. So he runs to the estate, and of course the estate bodyguards don't necessarily know who he is or why he's even there. So the assistant comes in, and she's like, hey, there's a clogged toilet down there, and it's spewing all kinds of mess, so we need this guy, let him through. So so while all of that's happening, we go back to the flashback, and Julie and Baz is coming out of the bathroom after taking a shower. He's like tying the towel around his waist, and Smurf stops him, and she's like, Baz, I have a job for you. I need you tonight to be at this place at this particular time. And as she leaves, this is where she ends up asking Baz about what CD he ended up buying, what album he ended up buying, and Baz is like, oh yeah, I bought the Black Flag, and he's like, also Smurf, they don't call them albums no more, it's like CDs. And Smurf is like, So Andrew goes into the bathroom. So their plan is like, you know what? They need to hide the fake pieces in what's that? In the tank, in the Flush's tank, and that's Andrew's job. That's all that he needs to do, and he needs to leave the bathroom, which he does. So Brock is coming in, and this is where Greg is like, hey, I need to figure out a way to go in. And also Greg ends up taunting Brock about his mother and his baby mama, and yeah, his friend doesn't like that, and Greg runs into the estate. So it's time for Andrew and Joshua to kind of fix the pipe with this mechanism that they created, because this is where they'll be picking up the jewelry that Darren will be sending their way. And because the writers wanted to make this episode more intense, it turns out that the piece doesn't fit. So they need more time. So Greg, because his job is to stall Brock, and he also needs to stall everyone from going inside, he ends up basically getting hit by Brock's car, and he acts as if he's injured, and he lays on the ground, and Brock comes out, and he's like, well, serves you right, because you were taunting me and teasing me and whatnot. So while Greg is trying to give Darren as much time as he's able to, Darren gets to work. He ends up taking the fake pieces that Andrew put in the Flush's tank. He takes them out, and then he replaces the real pieces with the fake ones. And it was kind of an intense scene because the cleaners were there and the waiters were there as well. And I'm like, Darren, don't get caught, hurry. So there's only one piece, the most expensive piece that's left, but before Darren can get to it, Brock's girlfriend comes in, and Eddie ends up putting the necklace around her neck, and Darren's like, I need that necklace somehow. And I'm like, Darren, just leave it. Don't bring attention to yourself, just leave it. So Greg is like, yep, that's all the time I could give Darren. So he gets up, and the other bodyguards end up touching him, and Greg punches the bodyguard in the face, and then Greg's paparazzi friend comes in, and he's like, wait, just leave this be, let's go, Greg, let's go. So Darren, because he still wants that necklace, he walks to the girl, and he's like, hey, I heard Eddie wanting a better picture of this necklace with proper lighting, so can I have that back? And the girl is like, she looks like a very kind person. She's like, yeah, of course, no problem, you can take it back. And she ends up handing it to Darren, But Brock notices all of this, and he confronts Darren, and he's like, what the heck are you doing? Why are you touching my girlfriend? Why are you touching that necklace? And the assistant comes in, and she's like, hey, he's the fire marshal. He's the fire marshal. Also, he didn't know. So it turns out that the necklace that the girl was wearing, it was actually created by Eddie specifically for her, designed specifically for her, as I guess like a special birthday present, or maybe an engagement present. I'm not really sure what happened. And Darren was like, okay, I guess I'll have to cut my losses. We lost the necklace, and Darren has no other choice but to go back into the bathroom, and he ends up putting the real pieces in these plastic pouches, and he flushes them away. And yeah, Joshua and Andrew pick them up, and job well done. The job's done. Even though they weren't able to procure the most expensive necklace, they were still able to steal a lot. So Julia, Baz, and Andrew are watching TV, and this is where Baz and Julia want to hook up, and they're like, hey Andrew, why don't you go get us a pizza, and you can drive my car? And Andrew's like, really? I can drive your car, Baz? And Baz is like, yeah, sure. Just go. And yeah, Andrew, because he doesn't know what's happening between Baz and Julia, he goes to get the pizza, not realizing that his twin sister, is going to hook up with basically his brother. So while Baz and Julia are hooking up, of course Smurf is waiting for Baz, because Baz needed to do this job for her, and Billy is there as well. And yeah, Billy is like, well, you're the one who took in that stray. And Smurf is like, are you jealous, Billy? Don't be. He's like, what, 18? And this isn't like him. Let's give him a few minutes, and let's see if he arrives. And I'm like, he's not going to come, Smurf. He's not going to come. Well, basically, he's going to come, if you know what I mean. Ew. Okay. My bad. So the Cody men are going over the pieces. They're basically picking those pieces apart. They're taking out the diamonds and whatnot so that they can sell them. And this is where Darren's like, hey, I had that necklace right in front of me. I should have just punched that dude's face and taken the necklace and ran with it. And Joshua and Andrew's like, hey, it was still a successful job, okay? Even if we weren't able to get that particular necklace, it was a successful job. And this is where Greg is like, sure. We would have had that most expensive necklace, the most valuable necklace, if Darren had listened to me, and if we had both got in. And Greg has this tension between Darren, and Greg just pops off. He just pops off, and he's like, you're trying to act like an alpha, even though you're like a whining little bitch and whatnot. And Greg is like, I'm done with this, because he also learns about the restaurant deal, which he didn't know about before, and he just walks away. Greg walks away, but before he can do that, Darren hits him with a stool, and a fight breaks between these two, and Joshua wants to break those two up, and Andrew's like, no, let them be. So both of them are punching each other, blood's coming out, and in the end, Greg wins, and he drives off leaving an injured Darren behind him. So, of course, Julia, she's very, very disappointed at Baz, because he wasn't at the time and place where she wanted him to be. And she basically walks into Baz's bedroom, and she notices that Baz is trying to roll up the sheets, which I'm like, yeah, she knows. And, of course, she realizes that Baz ended up sleeping with Julia, and she's like, Baz, don't let this ever happen again. And I'm like, Baz, you better listen to her. So, Janine comes out, she's in the kitchen, Julia's there, she's having a drink, she notices that her mother isn't under stress, so she ends up making her mother a drink as well, and she's like, you need this, and of course, Janine accepts. So Joshua goes to talk to Eddie's brother, and Joshua's very happy. He's like, hey, the job went well. We were able to steal a lot of pieces, and this is your cut. You should be happy, man. You should be happy. And yeah, he's like, no, I'm not happy. I thought that doing this would make me happy, but it doesn't. And he tells Joshua to lose his number, and Joshua's like, okay, whatever, dude, whatever. So Andrew basically decides to call Amy, and he's like, Amy, hey, it's Andrew, and let's catch up and whatnot. So Darren comes in, And Andrew ends up giving Darren a packet of ice, and Andrew's like, okay, Darren, so are things between you and Greg cool now? And Darren's like, I guess so. I guess so. So he asks, Andrew's like, hey, you can sleep here if you want to tonight. And Darren's like, no, I need to go home. And he asks Andrew if there's any food around, and Andrew checks the fridge. There's Chinese, and he goes to heat up the Chinese, if I remember correctly. And this is where he notices that the time on the microwave isn't right, and he's like, hey, Darren, was there a blackout? And Darren's like, I'm not really sure. I'm not sure. And Andrew's like, something's happening, something's up. Now, I really thought that he was going to notice the conflict pack not being placed correctly. Maybe it will come up in an upcoming episode. I'm not really sure, but I really thought that the conflict was going to give away that someone was in the house. But yeah, Andrew realizes that someone was in the house. So this is going to be a very, very interesting cat and mouse chase where Detective Thompson is trying to take him down, and Andrew is also aware that someone might be trying to take him down. So let's see what happens. I will be doing a review for the Geek Theory. The link to my review down in the comment section below as soon as the review goes up. Let me know what you thought of the episode down below. Do you think that Thompson will be able to bring Andrew down, or will Andrew beat her at her own game? Who knows? But yeah, let me know what you thought. And until next time, stay happy, also, I have to say that we are like, 5 episodes in, and the fact that all of the Cody men basically seem to have these love interests in the final season, while Darren is all alone, that doesn't sit well with me. It's giving homophobic, kind of. But yeah, let's see. I really hope that he figures out a way to be with Adrian before this show ends. Maybe in the finale, who knows. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the episode down in the comment section below. Until next time, stay happy, stay safe, stay blessed. See you guys later.